So in the last session, we are discussing about the attenuation. Two factors responsible for the attenuation we have discussed in detail. One is absorption and another one is the scattering. So major contribution for the attenuation is coming from the scattering that we learned about 90%. In detail absorption, two types we have studied: extrinsic absorption and intrinsic absorption. Both are differentiated by the electronic or ionic transitions, and this one, intrinsic absorption, characterized by the interaction between the photons and the fields. There is a transfer of the energy from the photons to the bands. With respect to the, so these two things we have studied with respect to the characteristics gaps of the silicon and germanium absorption losses. Then later we came across the linear scattering. Under that, relay scattering we have studied there. That is a linear type of scattering. And again, second type is a Maya scattering. Linear type of scattering is how it is characterized by the dispersion of light because of the localized refractive reasons. The very small regions will be formed, which are called localized regions, having their own unique refractive indices. So whenever the light will propagate through such localized regions, it will scatter. That is the main underlying concept for your relay scattering. Whereas in this one, Maya scattering is concerned with the imperfection in the construction. Then we gone through the seeing the non-linear scattering. In that we have seen two types: SBS and SRS. SBS, there we have seen a very ridiculous phenomena where it is your intensity modulated light once again undergoing remodulation. Okay, that is going to separate at upper and lower sidebands with the help of the modulating frequency. So thereby we are converting your photons into phonons and scatter photons. The second one, SRS, is similar to the SBS, but it is going to generate 3 times the power than that of the SBS. So the up to this we have discussed very briefly with respect to the attenuation. So today's topic, so after refreshing with what we have covered, is the fiber bending loss. We know that the fiber is made up of the core and cladding. If you look at this one, so this one. So we have the core here, a bent portion of the optical fiber core is showing here. Uh, its corresponding surrounding cladding. So how it is defined here? Initially, the fiber band loss means it is a radiation loss is telling at the bands or curves of the fibers. We know that two important aspects are important here to mention here. One, the refractive index of the core little bit more than the cladding. That is one thing. And second thing, the the light or whatever it is propagating in the core or in the fiber or maybe the cladding, it should travel less than the velocity of light. So these two key points which are actually required for the optimal propagation of the light through the fiber. And these are also responsible for the TIR phenomenon, total internal reflection. Of course, critical angle is there, but these two will also contribute little bit in one way or the other to the TIR phenomenon. So what are the two things here? Two key points for the dispersion. Underlying key points are, so why it is happening here. So two main reasons to quote here. Refractive index of the core should be more than the cladding. And again, whatever the light which is propagating inside the fiber, it should travel less than the velocity of light. Okay. But during bent portion of the optical fiber, so when it is something like if you want for your level, if you want to understand this one, so whenever you are going to run or moving on the bike with some particular velocity, and whenever if it is a plain road, you are moving at some particular velocity, and whenever you get the bend or curve, you try to reduce the velocity. Otherwise, what will happen? As we might have seen in the circus that one moped will be there, which is circulating inside the wooden ball, large wooden ball, which is circulating in different shapes of circles throughout the inside whole sphere. So that is happening because of the centrifugal force. And this force will contribute more velocity at the bent portion or the curvature if you will not reduce the velocity. Means with the normal speed what you are moving in the plain road, if you get the bent or curve, and if you try to maintain the same velocity, then it will be automatically increased because of the centrifugal force without accelerating it. The same thing is happening here with the light. That is a light not in the core but in the cladding. The light flowing in the core is going as it is, but the light propagating in the cladding, crossing the velocity of the light. Okay, but practically that is not possible, and that what amount of light that is crossing the velocity of light will be lost. That is radiated, we can say. Are you understanding this one? So this is what kind of the radiation is happening because of the light velocity automatically got faster at the bent or the curvature of the fiber, that is going to be more than the velocity of light, but practically it could not achieve it, but ultimately resulting into the loss of that amount of light. So that's what he is telling here. Sorry for the disturbance. So practically it is not possible. So energy concerned with this mode of light which is propagating will be lost through the radiation. And this loss can be represented by radiation attenuation constant. Normally, we know so far we are representing the loss in terms of the attenuation constant, that is alpha. But now it is concerned with the loss due to radiation. So it is suffixed with R there, that is alpha R. Alpha R, you can see here. That is equal to C1 exponential to the power minus C2R, where capital R represents radius of curvature of the bending of the fiber. C1, C2 are the proportionality constants independent of R. So for the multi-mode fibers, this bending loss is going to increase because of the involvement of more than one modes or multiple modes. And this radius of curvature expression, that is a critical radius of curvature is there telling. So whenever you came across this critical radius of curvature, no, that is RC, that is concerned with the multimode fiber. That you remember one thing. That is approximately given by 3n1 square, that is n1 is the refractive index of the core into the lambda, that is the wavelength, operating wavelength, divided by 4 pi. This one is n1 square minus n2 square to the power of 3 by 2. So these two are acting like a formulas you have to remember, and widely we are using in solving the numericals. So the important observations, what we are doing here, the potential bending loss may be reduced. This bending loss can be minimized by reducing the operating wavelength. Means if you keep operating at the shortest wavelength that is possible, you are able to reduce the curvature of bending that one, or its effect will be reduced. Or by keeping the relative refractive index difference. So this is here, this one, n1 square minus n2 square by 2n1. So this ratio is there, no? So this one is acting like a relative refractive index difference. So this should be larger, that is happens to be in the denominator. So when it will increase, then automatically the RC value got reduced, or the bending effect because of the fiber curvature will be reduced. So two things based on this formula, you can try to reduce the effect of RC. One, by reducing the operating wavelength, means operating at the shortest wavelength possible. And another one by keeping large relative refractive index difference. So this holds good for both single and multi-mode fibers in order to reduce the bending loss because of the in the optical fibers. So another expression I want you to remember. So critical radius, if you get here, I told that one, this is concerned with the multi-mode. And this is another expression for the critical radiation concerned with the single mode. So a little bit larger one, you need to remember widely we are using in solving the problems. Multimode formula is quite simple. So let us take one simple example here. Two step index fibers shows the parameters like the first one. It is concerned with the multi-mode fiber. The core refractive index, that is N1 1.5. So N1 we are substituting later. Relative refractive index difference 3%, that is a 0.003. And lambda, the operating wavelength is 0.82 microampere. So what is asking at the end, estimate the critical radius of curvature. Okay. So this is the first case we are taking multi-mode. You have to follow this formula. The RC approximately equal to 3 n1 square lambda divided by 4 pi into bracket n1 square minus n2 square to the power of 3 by 2. So this one here, a little bit larger. Okay. So n1 is given. So that is how much it is? 1 point. Okay, refractive index is 1.5. Okay. So n2 is not given here. With the help of the relative refractive index difference formula, that is delta equal to n1 square minus n2 square divided by 2 n1 square. Delta is given 0.003 and n1 is given. By that you can easily get n2. Then you can use this formula RC equal to 3 n2 square lambda. Sorry, n1 square lambda by 4 pi n1 square minus n2 square. So this I actually took it from the from book here. N1 is taking it as a 2.25 n1 square. N1 square means if you want you can write it as 1.5, it is given 1.5 square, or else you can directly write 2.25. It is up to you. And lambda operating wavelength, it has given 0.82 micrometer divided by 4 pi into n1 square minus n2 square is asking. So n2 square you got it so resolved by using this relative refractive index difference formula 2.115, and n1 square you got it as 2.25. If you do 2.25, that is n1 square, minus 2.115, that is n2 square, you will get 0.135 to the power 1 by 2. You will get it as a radius of curvature 9 micrometer. Okay. Actually it is 1 by 2. Now it is visible. Let's check it. It is 3 by 2 or 1 by 2. It is 1 by 2. Okay. Now in the similar aspect, next we will give the example of a 8 micrometer core diameter of single mode fiber having relative index difference of 0.3% and operating wavelength 1.55 micrometer. Now we'll have to use this formula. So this one, a quite big formula here. So this involves lambda c. Operating wavelength he has given, that is 1.55 micrometer. Lambda c is not given there, cutoff wavelength. So for that you have to use this formula for the single mode. That is lambda c equal to this one. I think we came across in the last module there. 2 pi a n1 to square root of 2 delta divided by 2.405. This is one 2.405 I want asked you to remember. That is the natural frequency for the single mode. For the multi-mode, it will become root 2 times 2.405. Okay, this will not be given, but you have to remember it. Right now, we are dealing with the single mode. It is going to be 2.405. If you make these substitutions, you will get the cutoff wavelength for the single mode fiber as 1.214 micrometer. Simply all the things you substitute here and use the calculator. So no any intermediate steps are required. You will get the radius of curvature as 34 millimeter. So you can see here, radius of curvature we got in multi-mode 9, and now here it is 34 mm. Of course, the operating wavelengths and other things got varied here. So these formulas you have to remember. Radius of curvature formula, this attenuation constant due to radiation, index difference formula, delta equal to n1 square minus n2 square by 2 n1 square, and this cutoff wavelength for the single mode, that is 2 pi n1 square root of 2 delta by 2.405. For multi-mode, it will become not 2 in the numerator, just pi n1 square root of 2 delta divided by square root of 2.405, like that. You can see here many formulas we are using here. So nothing is there in this problem. This has been asked once in the VT exam. All the things are directly substitutable in the given formula, provided if you know the formulas correctly and you know the how to use the calculator properly. So this all about the fiber bending laws. Okay. So far we discussed about attenuation with the two factors like absorption and scattering. Next, we gone through a small concept, fiber bending loss, that is happening because of the ridiculous phenomena that the light may appear to exceed, that is a intensity modulated light appears to exceed the velocity of light in the cladding, but ultimately ending up with the radiation resulting in the fiber bending loss. Next, we'll see another phenomena, that is known as a dispersion. Look, guys, we are discussing. So far, we covered important points in the module 2, that is attenuation, later fiber bending loss, and this is dispersion, a little bit more important than the previous two. Equally important, you can say, a little bit more. So these are all different types of losses here, which are happening in the or occurring in the fibers, optical fibers. Since attenuation with absorption extrinsic or intrinsic, with scattering linear or non-linear, then fiber bending loss. Hello. Okay. So this dispersion is also another type of loss which is happening inside the optical fiber. And this is defined as a spreading of the pulses of the intensity modulated light inside the optical fiber. Now, in order to explain this phenomena, dispersion, we'll call the intensity modulated light in terms of the pulses. So as I am talking, if I am talking that the light is going to strike at the mouth of the core at a particular angle, instead now I can say that the pulses of light are striking at the core at a particular angle of incidence. Means instead of a single ray of light, now we'll be talking that itself in terms of multiple pulses of ray, each one having different angle of incidence and subsequently having different ray path and time of propagation. And this is because of this all these pulses having different propagation time, with that they will reach by different amount of time, maybe slight difference among them by the receiver at the receiver. So that is going to result into the uh, loss of information because of the this propagation delay in the pulses. That is one aspect. But now he is telling this pulse spreading. Let us look at this one. I am going to take this concept more in detail in the next class. So we'll try to understand here what I mean by dispersion with the different types. If you look at this figure, barely we can see one, we got the input pulses which are launched at time t1. Two pulses you are observing no, in the first row, top row, separated pulses at t1. Means we launched two pulses which are clearly distinguishable. No any overlapping is there. Okay. Now at time t2, that is at the second row. At second row, we are going to launch again two more pulses, or we can say after some time elapsing, we'll reach another time, that is, you can say t2. That is more than t1. Understanding? It's something like now I started the class at 10 a.m. Now it is around 10:35. So 10:35 is more than 10. So like that, I launched two pulses which are not overlapping at time t1 in the first row. After some time lapse, call for example, the pulses will reach t2. So the situation of these pulses at time t2, which is greater than t1, is shown in row 2. The pulses which are separated, appearing separated in row 1, that is at time t1, are not appearing as separated at time t2, that is in row 2. Means pulse shape is changing here. Similarly, at time t3, still pulse are widening has very much reduced. Sorry, separation is very much reduced. Widening is increasing. Pulse widening is increasing. And again at some time has again elapsed at t4, pulses are barely distinguishable. Here the pulses are still more widened. And so what is happening here with the length of the fiber or distance of the fiber, the spreading of the pulses is increasing. Okay. So because of this spreading or widening of the pulses, they are getting overlapping as they are traveling more distance along the fiber. So this is actually known as a pulse spreading. And the loss of information because of this overlapping of the pulses, because of the widening of the pulses, is known as a dispersion. Is it clear? A very simple phenomena. So under such circumstances, how to measure the information loss or information achieved or capacity? That is specified by the bandwidth, product of the bandwidth and distance what they are covering. For example, megahertz kilometer, something like that. For step index, this will be 20 megahertz kilometer, and for graded index, this will be around 2.5 megahertz kilometer. These are some constants you have to remember, like refractive indices of water, air, something like that, glass. So there are three types of dispersions are there. So let me take this concept of dispersion in detail in the next session. Some quantitative discussion we have to do there. In detail, we have to discuss exclusively for this dispersion. And also we have to know the background of different types of dispersion there in order to understand that concept, because there we are going to discuss dispersion with respect to some different types there. So barely we are going to discuss the concept of dispersion today, the brief definition along with some types. Material dispersion is also known as a chromatic dispersion. All we came to know just now that dispersion means it is a overlapping of the pulses due to their spreading. And this material dispersion occurs due to change in refractive index for the different operating wavelengths of the light rays, maybe single or multimodes. At what wavelength they are operating, it depends on that. That's what is known as a chromatic dispersion. Chromatic. means light wavelength. And it is also known as a material dispersion because it concerned with the variation in the refractive index of the core or cladding. So that's why it is known by both material dispersion, change in refractive index occurring, and chromatic dispersion, as it depends on the different wavelengths of the light. So different wavelength of the light will undergo different propagation. And you can see this graph here, as the index of wavelength will increase, index of refraction will goes on decreasing here. So the graph is showing the variation of refractive index with respect to the wavelength. So variation in refractive index will goes on decreasing with increase in wavelength. If you operate your modes or rays of light, maybe single or multimode fibers, if you are operating at the lower wavelength, then chances are there you are suffering from the more index of refraction or more material dispersion. But if you can operate at a longer wavelengths, so no much index of refraction will be there, and you are able to enjoy with less material dispersion or chromatic dispersion. That's what with that purpose is showing here. So this material dispersion with the unit length N1, that is a normalized material dispersion we can call. So normalized means anything that is measured related to one. Okay, unity. That is called as a normalized material dispersion is given by D mat. D is a dispersion that is happening because of the material or chromatic minus lambda c into d square n by d lambda square. C is the velocity of light, all we know, and C lambda is the center wavelength or operating wavelength. D square n by d lambda square will indicate the secondary derivative of the index of with respect to wavelength. And negation indicates the upper sideband, that is the lowest wavelength, arrives before the lower sideband, that is the highest wavelength. Let us consider a simple example. An LED operating, that is a light source, at 850 nanometer, that is a lambda is given here, has a spectral width of 45 nanometer. So this one is given. What is the pulse spreading in nanosecond per kilometer due to material dispersion? So lambda is given here, 850 nanometer, and spectral width 45 nanometer. RMS pulse broadening due to material dispersion is given by this formula here. So these are all new formulas we are getting as and when you are solving the numericals, and you need to list them and have to remember them. L is given, that is a normalized, that is 1 meter. So material dispersion D mat, that is from the formula minus lambda c by d square by d lambda square. So for LED source operating at 850 nanometer, so the maximum value of this one, that is a lambda square, d square n by d lambda square modulus of that, if you take, that is the maximum value of that is hello, yes, that is given 0.025. It is not mentioned, you just note it is a 0.025. So you can substitute the things here. 1 by, this is another formula for the m equal to. So but these some things are missing here. You may not comfortably understand this one. I want to take up this problem when we are discussing the dispersion in detail. Okay, let us complete the types here first, and we'll get back to this problem, because there we have to see some mathematical derivation is there for the material dispersion. There we are going to discuss dispersion with respect to material dispersion. So after that we'll come across this so that we will feel comfortable to understand this one. So first type of dispersion, what you have seen, material or chromatic dispersion. So another one is waveguide dispersion, that is happening because of the difference in index of refraction between the core and cladding, which will result in the drag effect between the core and cladding, and is more significant if your fiber is supporting 5 to 10 modes. The number of modes what it is supporting will increase, for example hundreds or thousands, then its effect will be reduced. Again, this will be given by this formula, you just note it down. So chromatic dispersion is nothing but a combination of both material and waveguide dispersion. And modal dispersion, it's something unusual effect. Suppose if your optical fiber is supporting multiple modes, each mode carrying the modulating signal, and each one having its own incident angle at the boundary, maybe at the core or maybe at the core cladding interface. And obviously each one will be having the individual or distinct propagation times or paths. So the net effect will be the spreading of the pulse, and that results in the dispersion, and is known as the modal dispersion. It is called modal dispersion. So how does got its name modal? Means it depends on the different modes, multiple modes which are achieving different propagation times and resulting into the spreading of the pulses and consequently causing the spreading of the pulses or dispersion. That is known as the modal dispersion. So it is moderately present in the graded index, that is the grid fibers, and almost not there in the single mode fibers, because only single mode is there. We want multiple modes for this one to occur. So this is the another formula, you just note it down. And this multi-mode step index and single mode step index fibers, how the dispersion is happening. So that's why I told. In the next class, we'll see exclusively the discussion of the dispersion respect to the different single or a multi-mode or a material dispersion, along with the quantitative discussion and some more exclusive problems you can see in detail. So today we have seen a brief discussion about the definition of the dispersion, how it will occur, why it will occur. We have seen that in detail. Then we have gone through some different types of the dispersion, like a material dispersion or chromatic dispersion, Rowland dispersion. Combining both two will get the chromatic dispersion and modal dispersion. The next class we can see the dispersion exclusively with respect to the single, multimode and material dispersions. Let's stop.